Dear friends, in this video we are going to discuss about calibration, line and end standard, and readability. Calibration is the important activity to be done for all the measuring instruments. It is a periodic and preventive measurement. It is a part of maintenance. Every certain period we have to do the calibration for the instruments and equipments, load cells, etc. etc. Here we are going to discuss about the calibration. What is the calibration? What is the purpose of calibration? And why we are conducting the calibration? That is, we have to ensure that the values indicated in the measuring instruments matches with the reference measurements. Then only you can say it is in proper order for doing the or for carrying out the measurements. The purpose is to maintain quality control and quality assurance in production, to comply with the requirements of global trade, and also to meet the requirement of ISO guidelines across the international countries, and to ensure it follows the national standards. Benefit is, if the instrument is calibrated, it shows that it is proof that the instrument is in proper order, it is working properly. It increases the confidence of using the instruments. And in the production center, if you use the calibrated equipment or instruments, it will reduce the rejection and failure rate, resulting in higher productivity and higher return. And it will result in power saving and cost saving also. Also, it will result in safety, better safety. The requirement for calibration is reference or calibration standards and other instruments equipments, controlled environmental conditions, competence of calibration lab personnel, traceability of reference, and documentation. These are the basic requirements of calibration. Readability, that is, we have to take the readings. It should be user friendly, it should be legible, it can be easily understood, easily recorded. Then only we can say it is readable. Sometimes readability may become difficult when we have the parallax errors. That is, when observer is noting the position pointer on a calibrated scale. Reliability is another important parameter. It explicitly defined the probability that a system will perform satisfactory for at least a given period of time when used under certain conditions. We are saying that he is a reliable person, we can judge him, we can accept his activity, that is, he is true, the instrument is true, so we can reliable on the instrument. Reliability has some numerical value, probability, that is, probability always say between 0 and 1. Adequate performance by the product, works for a specified period, works under specified environmental condition. These are called readability. Then line standard, there are two standards, one is line standard, second one is end standard. In the measurement of distance between two parallel lines or two surfaces is called a line standard. When the length is measured between the distance between centers of two engraved lines, it is called line standard. Yard, we know that a yard is made up of 1 square inch cross section bronze bar and is 38 inches long. The highly polished top surface of these plugs contain three transversely and two longitudinal engraved lines lying on the neutral axis. Standard meter. The meter is the distance between the center portions of two lines engraved on the polished surface of bar made up of platinum and iridium having a unique cross section. The web section gives maximum rigidity and economy in the use of costly material. The bar is kept at 0 degrees Celsius under normal atmospheric conditions. The upper surface of the web is inoxidizable and needs a good finish for quality measurement. That is called a standard meter. In standard arises as the use of line standard and their copies was difficult at various places in workshops. These are usually in the form of end bars and slip gauges. End bars made of steel having cylindrical section of 22.2 mm diameter with the faces lapped and hardened at the ends, which are available in various lengths. Flat and parallel faced end bars are firmly used as the most practical end standard for measurement. Slip gauges, as we know, in many places we are coming across the slip gauges. It is nothing but rectangular, hardened, stabilized high grade steel block. The length of the slip gauge is strictly the dimension which it measures. The blocks, after being manufactured, are hardened to resist wear and are allowed to stabilize to release internal stresses. A combination of slip gauges enables the measurements to be made in the range of 0.0025 mm to 100 mm, but in combination with end bars, it may range up to 1200 mm also it is possible. Another standard is wavelength standard, where line and end standards are physical standards and are made up of materials that can change their size and with the temperature and other environmental conditions. Line standard and end standard are physical standards and are made up of materials. They can change their size with the temperature and other environmental conditions. So in search of such a suitable unit of length, wavelength source is established. In order to replace the end and line standard, they have found wavelength standard. Normally, laser is used as a primary level wavelength standard. According to this standard, a meter is defined as 16,50,763 wavelength of the red-orange radiation of krypton isotope gas. That is, radiation of krypton isotope gas is 16,50,000. That is equivalent to 1 meter. The wavelength. Then a yard means 0.9144 meters the yard. 1 yard equal to 0.9 meters. So if you multiply by 0.9, we will be getting 50,09,458 wavelength. So 1 meter is nothing but 60,57,63 wavelength. Whereas 1 yard is 50,09,458 wavelength. That is wavelength standards. So there is no physical standard for this wavelength. The difference between line, end and wavelength standard. So in terms of accuracy, time measurement, effect of use, errors, process, cost, example, care. So you can look at this table. Wavelength standard gives highest accuracy, but it is time consuming. Effect of use depends on wavelength. Error will not be there. Process is somewhat difficult, high cost. That is, laser is the example, that is monochromatic light. Doesn't affect by any maintenance work. Whereas end standard examples are vernier caliper and slip gauges. Line standard example is steel rule. So with this, I close this video on calibration in standard wavelength standard and line standard. Thank you for watching this video.